Welcome to the Book Recap Show. You've tuned into The Deep Dive, the show where we take your pile of sources, be it articles, research, or your own notes, and extract those essential nuggets of knowledge and insight. We're here to give you that shortcut to being truly well-informed, packed with surprising facts, and just enough humor to keep you hooked. Every deep dive we embark on is custom-tailored just for you, our curious listener.
And as your guides, our mission today is, well, it's to help you navigate a truly compelling and complex narrative. We're going beyond just what happened. We want to understand the profound why behind it all. We're going to help you connect the dots in a story filled with hitting past unexpected revelations and this really intricate dance between two unforgettable characters.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Today, we're plunging headfirst into the pages of Ana Huang's Twisted Love, Book 1 of the Twisted series. And this is a story that promises, oh, the description is intense, a heart of ice that would, for one person, burn the world. It's a tale woven with threads of tragedy, vengeance, and a surprising vulnerability that just might crack the coldest exteriors. You've brought us some fantastic material, and we're excited to unpack it all. Highway, introducing our protagonists, Ice and Sunshine. Okay, let's dive right in. Alex Volkov. Right from the start, this character is introduced with such a striking contradiction. He has a heart of ice, but for her, he'd burn the world. What kind of initial impression does that create? How quickly does the narrative really reinforce that or maybe challenge it?
Well, from the very first descriptions, Alex Volkov isn't just presented as a character. He's almost like this elemental force, described as a devil blessed with the face of an angel. But that angelic exterior, it's profoundly deceptive. It immediately hides this dark foundational truth. He's cursed with a past he can't escape. And the narrative doesn't leave this vague at all. It's specific. It's this haunting family tragedy that has singularly driven him for, well, most of his life.
Right.
We learn almost immediately that his ruthless pursuits for success and vengeance leave little room for matters of the heart. So right away, he's established as someone formidable, totally focused on his own agenda, almost like a force of nature bending the world to his will.
Yeah, like this unstoppable force. And yet, even with that stark, almost terrifying initial impression, a man consumed by this singular cold purpose. The narrative hints at a profound shift coming. The source states that when he's forced to look after his best friend's sister, he starts to feel something in his chest. A crack, a melt, a fire that could end his world as he knew it. So how does this forced proximity begin to challenge that carefully constructed, almost impenetrable persona? What's really at stake for him here?
Oh, this forced proximity. It's absolutely the crucible. It's where the core conflict of his character truly ignites. You see, Alex's entire existence has been consumed by one thing: vengeance. The source explicitly details that he's specialized in the long game for 16 years.
16 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. His pursuit of justice isn't just some fleeting desire. The book says it's every waking thought, every dream and nightmare, my reason for living. His whole corporate empire, Archer Group, which became Fortune 500 in just a decade, he built that, guided it. But he deliberately stayed as COO, the power behind the throne, because that position offered more flexibility until I finished what I had to do.
Ah, strategic.
Exactly. This relentless ambition, this intense control, it's all a direct outcome of his deep-seated trauma and Ava's presence. She's the first real disruptive force to that carefully orchestrated, deeply isolated life. His carefully compartmentalized world is definitely starting to fray at the edges because of her.
Fascinating how his past just dictates everything. And we also learn about his unique memory hyperthymesia, or HSM. He literally says, I don't need photos for that. The memories are here.
This hyperthymesia, it's like his past is constantly playing on a loop in perfect detail. Does that make true healing harder for him? I mean, does it make forgiveness for himself or others almost impossible because the pain is always so immediate, so vivid? Exactly right. Unlike most of us, who might selectively forget or even repress traumatic memories as a coping mechanism, Alex has no such luxury. Every detail, every raw emotion from his family's deaths, his parents, his sister Nina, it's all as vivid now as it was 16 years ago.
Unbelievable.
And this hyper-detailed recall doesn't just fuel his vengeance, it effectively traps him in that past. It isolates him. I mean, who can truly relate to constantly reliving that kind of horror? The insight here, I think, is that for Alex, healing isn't about forgetting he can't forget. It's about finding a new reason to live, something that can override or at least compete with the constant pull of the past.
And that's Ava.
That's Ava.
Yeah.
But it's an arduous day-by-day battle against his own brain, against those memories. His only real catharsis comes through these intense physical outlets, like Krav Maga, which is this brutal self-defense system. He channels his anger by pummeling the mannequin, which he even names after people he dislikes, like Herper. It just reveals this deeply suppressed emotional world that only his memory and these physical outlets could access, until Ava, that is.
So Alex is this man forged by his past, carrying every single painful memory in high definition. But then we have Ava Chen. She's introduced as a free spirit trapped by nightmares of a childhood she can't remember.
Okay.
Completely the opposite. Her past is a blank slate, or what she calls the blackout. What defines Ava's initial state? What immediate challenges does she face that really highlight her vulnerabilities?
Ava embodies this kind of resilient optimism. She's described as a glass half full kind of gal, but, and this is important, she's not naive. Her opening situation immediately puts her vulnerability on display, though. She's stranded in the rain, no Uber, needs to pick up her brother Josh's surprise birthday cake, and it's getting dark.
Right, the classic damsel in distress setup, almost.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
And she explicitly acknowledges her lack of self-defense skills. She wishes she'd taken those self-defense classes with Jules like she wanted. So this establishes her need for protection and assistance right from the start. It's a central theme for her. And the contrast with Alex, who remembers everything, is so striking. She refers to her forgotten childhood before age 9 as the blackout, literally a void where vital parts of her history should be.
And her relationship with her brother Josh seems like a really key early dynamic. He's described as charming, the opposite of Alex, who apparently put people on edge. Josh also uses violence to protect her. The source even mentions he bought her an 8-pack of pepper spray instead of a camera bag she wanted. What does this intense familial bond reveal about Ava's world? And does it foreshadow anything for her future?
Josh's protectiveness is profound and almost aggressively practical. Like you said, the pepper spray instead of the camera bag. He's also willing to use violence if his friends fail to pick her up. It shows the lengths he'll go to ensure her safety. And this dynamic perfectly sets up the context for Alex later taking on that protector role at Josh's insistence. It foreshadows a world where Ava, despite her independent spirit, seems to need the strong, decisive figure by her side. And a critical piece of her character, a literal manifestation of her unremembered trauma, is her profound phobia of water. Oceans and lakes and pools, described as causing nausea, the racing heart, the paralyzing fear. This fear is deeply ingrained and becomes a significant hurdle later. It's a physical manifestation of her psychological block. But despite these vulnerabilities, her passion for photography is really important. She finances her own equipment, aspires to a prestigious fellowship, the World Youth Photography one. This showcases an independent spirit and ambition that contrasts with her need for external protection. She's definitely not just a damsel in distress. She has her own dreams, her own agency, even while navigating this world that feels unsafe to her. 2. The spark of forced proximity, a relationship forged in adversity.
Okay, so Ava's initial dilemma, needing that ride in the rain, leads her to her one option left, which is calling Josh. And who does Josh send? Of course, he sends Alex. What's their very first direct interaction like? How does it immediately set the tone for their complex, often antagonistic, yet undeniably magnetic dynamic?
It's stark. Alex's arrival is just unyielding. He pulls up, rolls down the window, and simply states, "Get in." The book notes he never raised his voice, yet his presence is so powerful, Ava immediately perceives him as a force of nature. She even imagines, even the weather bowed to him, which is quite a description.
Yeah.
He's clearly annoyed by the whole situation, especially when Ava, with this bright smile trying to cover her anxiety, suggests a detour to the bakery for Josh's death by chocolate cake. And her internal thought, Ava Chen, 1. Alex Volkov, 0. When he reluctantly agrees. It immediately highlights this subtle power play between them and her unexpected defiance against his formidable, controlled presence. It's a quick, almost humorous exchange that really sets the stage for a relationship built on this constant push and pull.
And his chivalry, if you could even call it that, it's so unique. He outright refuses to open the car door for her, right? But then moments later, he insists on getting the cake himself. He says, "You're not leaving the car dressed like that." What does this tell us about his contradictory nature? Are those subtle glimmers of the heart of ice maybe showing a crack? Is this genuine chivalry just expressed really awkwardly? Or is it still just his need for control redirected towards her safety and reputation?
It's a classic Alex Volkov contradiction, isn't it? He's dismissive, even mutters something about not being interested in her. Ava thinks, not interested in Alex either, but no girl enjoys being dismissed so easily. Yet his actions reveal this underlying protectiveness that he clearly struggles to mask with arrogance and disdain. Preventing her from going inside alone, despite his harsh delivery, is undeniably a protective act. I think it's less about traditional chivalry and more about his innate possessiveness. And yeah, his need to control the environment around someone he's now responsible for. His movements are described as like a panther, all coiled grace and laser intensity, suggesting this dangerous yet controlled individual. But what's truly telling is that rare blip of humor from him, his joke that his condition is chronic, referring to his stick-in-the-ass demeanor.
Yeah.
Ava notices this immediately. She recognizes it as this unexpected hint of a hidden, almost human personality beneath the cold, infuriating exterior. It's like finding a single warm ember in a block of ice,
Definitely. So the major turning point in their early dynamic comes when Josh pleads with Alex to look after Ava while he's abroad. Why does Josh specifically ask Alex? Given their vastly contrasting personalities and Alex's established, ruthlessness, it seems like a really odd choice for someone so protective of his sister.
Josh's choice actually speaks volumes about Alex's hidden integrity and Josh's deep, deep trust in him. He emphasizes that Alex is the only person I trust not to. Fuck her.
Whoa, okay. Blunt.
Very. And then he adds, more broadly, the only person I trust, period, outside of my family. This reveals that despite Alex's public bad boy image, he's seen as uniquely reliable and honorable when it comes to commitments. It suggests this history of loyalty between Alex and Josh that goes way beyond just casual friendship. Josh also reveals Ava's recent breakup and the fact she's being harassed by her ex, Liam. That adds this layer of urgency and necessity to his plea. It makes it clear Ava needs a truly formidable protector, someone who won't hesitate to act. And Alex, well, he's uniquely suited for that role, even if his methods are unconventional.
Okay, so Alex agrees to this huge request, but with immense reluctance. He internally states, I was going to regret this. I knew it, yet here I was, signing my life away, at least for the next year. What's truly happening inside Alex's head at this moment, beyond just simple annoyance? What kind of mental calculus is he doing, given his laser focus on vengeance?
This agreement for Alex isn't just taking on some chore. It's a profound commitment that he takes with utmost seriousness. He explicitly states, I didn't make a lot of promises, but when I did, I kept them. This sense of unshakable honor is a core, if often hidden, part of his character. And this commitment immediately translates into these tangible strategic actions.
Right, the security system.
Exactly. He installs a new top-of-the-line security system at Ava's house. He signs her up for self-defense lessons. He even upgrades her alarm system, despite her having a fit about being woken up at 7 a.m. This shows his absolute dedication to his word, but also his strategic, almost Machiavellian mindset. He actually rationalizes it, thinking, the more she stayed out of trouble, the less I had to worry about her, and the more I could focus on my business and plan for revenge.
Okay. Still connecting it back to his main goal.
Always. But this forced promise also triggers a deep internal struggle. It's underscored by this familiar, creeping sense of doom, and the memory resurfaces, blood everywhere, on my hands. This immediately links his need for control and protection to the deep-seated trauma that drives his entire life. It suggests that Ava's presence, however initially unwanted, is already starting to stir that emotional landscape he's worked so hard to suppress.
So after this reluctant promise is made, how do Ava and Alex actually settle into what Ava herself calls this wary truce, their initial coexistence? What small gestures begin to define their tentative peace, and what unexpected internal shifts are happening for Alex already?
Well, Ava tries to extend an olive branch with a basket of red velvet cookies. It's this lighthearted gesture of peace, and surprisingly, Alex enjoys them. He even admits internally he wouldn't mind more of those red velvet cookies.
Awesome.
It's a tiny crack in his facade.
Or a small one, yeah.
But even as he's savoring the cookies, his thoughts quickly turn physical. He imagines her wearing tiny shorts and tank top. This highlights the undeniable, almost unwelcome attraction simmering beneath his controlled exterior. And this attraction is a constant internal battle for him. So much so that when he's training Krav Maga with his partner Ralph, his thoughts stray to Ava's cleavage, and it causes Ralph to actually land a punch in his gut.
Oof. Distracted.
Totally distracted. It shows how disruptive her presence is to his carefully maintained focus on revenge and his carefully constructed emotional walls. He's clearly no longer just a protector. He's becoming captivated.
And on Ava's side, she describes finding him intimidating but also exhilarating. She notes, Every encounter with Alex, no matter how small, left me on edge. I was nervous, yes, and a bit terrified, but I'd also never felt more alive.
What does that tell us about her attraction to him? Does it hint at her own unconscious needs, maybe related to her blackout past?
Yeah, I think that dynamic points to Ava's own unconscious desire for a protective figure. Someone whose formidable presence makes her feel safe, paradoxically, even despite the fear he might inspire. It's a dangerous allure, isn't it? Suggesting a connection that goes beyond the superficial, it's drawing her in with an intensity she hasn't experienced before.
And given her deeply repressed childhood trauma and that blackout of her memories, there might be this unspoken need for security. Perhaps someone to face the unknown dangers she senses but can't remember. Alex, with his absolute control and raw power, might subconsciously represent a figure who could stand against whatever darkness her past holds. It's a connection that makes her feel acutely alive, hinting at this deeper, almost primal draw towards someone capable of wielding immense power, for better or worse. 3. Escalation of conflict, challenges, and revelations.
Okay, let's talk about a significant turning point in their evolving dynamic. The boudoir photoshoot incident. Alex's frantic search for Ava, triggered when she doesn't answer her phone, really reveals his growing concern, maybe even panic.
Yeah.
What happens when he finally finds her? And how does this ignite a major conflict between them, exposing those possessive undercurrents of his protective nature?
Oh, his reaction is visceral. And it immediately links back to his profound trauma. His heart rate ticked up, and the familiar noose around my neck tightened when Ava didn't reply. It clearly shows how his past trauma of loss is triggered by her perceived vulnerability or unavailability.
Right, to fear of loss again.
Exactly. He finds her in an outfit he describes as something that wouldn't be out of place in Playboy magazine, modeling for boudoir photography.
Yeah.
And his fury just erupts. He calls the act destructive. He immediately starts deleting the photos. He expresses this genuine fear that they'd be leaked and harm her future and reputation.
But Ava doesn't just back down.
No, not at all. Her defiance is equally strong. She declares, "You can't tell me what to do. You're not my father or brother." She defends the photo shoot as artistic, highlighting her independent spirit and her agency. She's unwilling to be controlled, even by someone claiming to protect her. It's a real clash of wills and completely different views on boundaries and art versus risk.
And Alex's threat to destroy Owen's career, the photographer's, that's extreme. Threatening to reduce him to advertising shitty $5 an hour headshots on Craigslist.
Yeah.
What does this show about the depth of his protective nature and his willingness to use those ruthless tactics, even in personal matters? I mean, this isn't just concern anymore. It feels terrifyingly possessive.
It absolutely reveals the true depth of Alex's possessiveness and his inherent ruthlessness. It's not just reserved for the corporate world. He applies these brutal tactics to personal matters when he perceives a threat to someone he considers his. His actions stem from a genuine, albeit incredibly intense, fear for Ava's safety and reputation. Yet the methods he employs are brutal and disproportionate. It's a core part of his character, forged by his past. He sees no gray areas when it comes to safeguarding what or who he values. But Ava, despite her humiliation, makes this crucial observation. Alex did show emotion over Ava. And this observation sparks operation emotion among Ava and her friends, which is this lighthearted, almost comical plan to deliberately elicit more emotional responses from Alex to see if there's truly a softer side under all that stone.
Right. Operation Emotion. How did the phases of this actually play out? What do they reveal about Alex's incredible, almost superhuman control? It sounds kind of like a villain's guide to not reacting. Did you find yourself chuckling at Ava's attempts, knowing how formidable Alex is?
Oh, absolutely. It's quite amusing because you realize just how truly unyielding he is. Phase 1, Phase Disgust, involves Ava baking him these truly unappetizing asparagus and garlic brittle cookies, which she herself found gross. Alex, remarkably, maintains a completely unreadable face, simply stating, "They're fine."
Unbelievable.
It just demonstrates his incredible control over his expressions and reactions. He just absorbs it. This phase also includes a dog peeing on his shoes, something that would normally provoke a strong reaction from anyone yet. No visible response from Alex. Then there's phase fear, which proves even more challenging. Ava's brother, Josh, confirms he has never once seen him afraid, even when they encountered a bear.
A bear.
Yep. And Josh explicitly states, "Jump scares don't work either. Trust me, I've tried many times to prank him in the past and failed every time." These attempts just continuously underscore Alex's almost superhuman emotional stoicism. It makes you wonder if anything could truly get a rise out of him, which, of course, the plot will later reveal quite dramatically.
Okay, so Operation Emotion fails spectacularly. Then the reemergence of Ava's ex-boyfriend, Liam. This marks another significant escalation, bringing all those underlying tensions right to the surface. What kind of person is Liam, and how does his presence, specifically his aggression, ultimately bring Alex and Ava closer, albeit through violence?
Liam is portrayed as increasingly volatile and disturbing. He's described as drunk but high. He's verbally abusive, calling Ava a slut, and physically aggressive, grabbing her wrist and yanking her back. This is a stark contrast to the safe environment Ava was trying to create, and a direct threat to the fragile peace she'd found. Now, Ava's self-defense, kneeing him in the balls, demonstrates her growing resilience. That's a direct result of the self-defense classes Alex enrolled her in.
Good for her.
Definitely. But it's Alex's sudden and brutal intervention that truly impacts their dynamic. Liam's aggression forces Alex to fully embrace his protective role, tearing down the last vestiges of his initial reluctance to care for her.
And Alex's beating of Liam is described as brutal. He's literally saying that's for calling her slut, for holding her against her will, for cheating on her. It's a shocking display of violence. What does this reveal about Alex? And how does Ava react to it, especially considering her own past and repressed trauma?
Yeah, this incident unequivocally showcases Alex's inherent brutality and the depth of his protective instincts. He's willing to resort to extreme measures, even overwhelming violence for those he deems his, and Ava has clearly crossed that threshold for him. His actions are visceral. It's a release of his own controlled aggression when faced with a direct threat to someone he cares about. Ava's reaction, though, is complex. While she had defended herself, the incident serves as this powerful trigger for her repressed memory.
Ah, the trauma resurfaces.
Exactly. She collapses into a breakdown, crying, huge, heaving sobs. And in this incredibly vulnerable state, she haltingly confesses fragments of her forgotten past. It's a direct consequence of Alex's actions. However brutal, it's painful, but it turns out to be a necessary catalyst for her to finally confront her deepest fears.
And this leads to the discovery of the blackout, her forgotten childhood before age 9, and that fabricated story about her mother. What is the shocking truth Ava uncovers about her past? And how does Alex, with his resources and determination, facilitate this earth-shattering revelation?
Ava reveals her nightmares aren't just dreams, but fragments of memory. I don't remember anything before the blackout. Her father, Michael, had told her this horrific gaslighting lie. Her mother had a breakdown, pushed her into the lake, and then killed herself. But a new memory fragment emerges from the Liam incident. A flash of gold, a signet ring, MC by the lake.
MC Michael Chen.
Precisely. This leads her to the horrific realization, Alex, my mom didn't try to kill me, my dad did. Alex, who had already grown suspicious of Michael, had his people investigate. They quickly uncover Michael's insidious gaslighting. They confirm the true story of Mrs. James, Ava's third-grade teacher who reported suspicious bruising. They confirm Michael's history of corporate fraud and tax evasion. And later, Michael chillingly confirms his true motive to gain custody of Josh, his legacy. Ava was merely a package deal, an inconvenient attachment. He even admits to enjoying her believing she was crazy.
Oh my God.
God.
That's truly sickening revelation of parental betrayal, just pure evil. This is devastating. A double betrayal for Ava, not just from her father, but the emotional weight of a past she was manipulated into believing was something else entirely.
Yeah.
How does she cope with this mind-shattering revelation? What strengths does she discover within herself amid such profound emotional devastation?
The revelation leaves Ava feeling practically an orphan, understanding her entire life was a lie. She enters this period of deep numbness. She finds herself unable to cry, explicitly dreading her waking hours. Her friends and Josh, who gets emergency leave from his program, are deeply worried by her state. They can't seem to reach her.
Understandably.
Yet, amidst this immense emotional devastation, she finds this powerful source of strength in confronting her biggest, most ingrained fear. Her aquaphobia, the literal manifestation of her trauma. She courageously goes to the university pool and swims alone for more than an hour without a panic attack.
Wow, that's huge.
It's monumental, like a profound act of self-reclamation. She actively reclaims control over her mind and body. It leads her to the realization that while she might not feel strong enough for anything else right then, she has survived not one, not two, but 3 near-death experiences. This personal triumph culminates in her embracing the belief that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's her first true step towards healing and independence.
Incredible resilience. But just when we think the layers of deception and betrayal couldn't possibly get any deeper, we learn about Alex's own intricate long-game revenge plan, which ultimately involved his own family. What is the true scope of Alex's mission, and how long has he been orchestrating this, consuming every fiber of his being?
Right. Alex reveals that his urgent business before that dinner with Ava, it was confirming the true killer of his family. His investigations, leveraging his tech guy to hack financial records, showed massive sums of money transferred by his uncle, Ivan Volkov. Ivan, his only living relative who took him in after the tragedy, was the mastermind all along.
His own uncle.
Ivan's motive apparently stems from this toxic love for Alex's mother. She rejected him for Alex's father years ago. This rejection, plus his subsequent social ostracization, festered into this murderous resentment. And Alex. He's been consumed by this mission for 16 years, dedicating every waking thought, every dream and nightmare to it. It wasn't just a goal, it was his identity, his very reason for living, shaping every single decision he'd made since childhood.
16 years focused on his uncle.
Wow.
The narrative reaches its terrifying climax when Ivan, now fully aware of Alex's manipulations, kidnaps Ava and Bridget. Alex is then forced into this brutal confession. What exactly does he tell Ava in that moment, and why? Why choose to inflict such profound pain on her with words that cut deeper than any blade?
Ivan, having just been dethroned as CEO by Alex's secret boardroom coup, forces Alex to confess the biggest lie I'd ever told, the worst thing I'd ever done to save Ava's life. Alex, in this horrifying act of self-sacrifice, claims she was never more than a pawn in my game. He tells her he planted the idea of moving into his house just to get closer to Michael, her father. He says it was much easier to make you fall in love with me when you have to see me every day.
Oh, that's cruel.
Beyond cruel. He describes her as sweet, trusting Ava, so eager to fix broken things, so desperate for love she'd take it anywhere she could find it. This is a deliberate, calculated act of emotional destruction. It's designed to push her away, to protect her from his dangerous world, ensuring she hates him enough to stay safe. It's a testament to his deeply ingrained self-sacrificial nature, believing that by making himself the villain in her eyes, he could truly save her from people like Ivan.
And then, the ultimate act of vengeance against Ivan himself. Alex poisons him and then shoots him multiple times. What's the significance of this visceral, brutal act for Alex? What kind of closure does it bring him after 16 years of relentless pursuit? Is it truly satisfying in the end?
This is the absolute culmination of those 16 years of planning and relentless pursuit. He'd already poisoned Ivan earlier with tea, apparently, and now with his loved ones present as witnesses, he delivers these final symbolic shots. He fires one for his mother, another for his father, for the third for Nina, for Ava, for Bridget, and a final one for me.
Chilling.
It's his fucked up version of closure, as the book calls it, a release of the immense rage and pain that has consumed him for so long. For 16 years, this moment was his driving force, the purpose of his existence. But while it provides this brutal release, the question hangs there, can such an act truly bring peace? Or does it merely empty him, leaving this huge void where vengeance once resided? He also brutally punishes Camo the guard for hurting Ava during the kidnapping, which underscores the violent possessiveness that has always been part of his character, even when protecting her. It's a chilling reminder of his capacity for darkness, even at his moment of closure. 4. The aftermath and glimmers of hope.
Okay, so Ava experiences these profound betrayals from both her father, Michael, and then Alex. How does she process this staggering emotional blow? What's her initial journey towards healing and self-discovery, especially after Alex's devastating confession?
Well, initially, Ava enters this period of deep numbness again. She's unable to process the sheer magnitude of the betrayal. She finds herself unable to cry, explicitly dreading her waking hours. Her friends and Josh, who gets emergency leave again, are deeply worried. They can't seem to penetrate her emotional shell.
Right.
Yet amidst this immense emotional devastation, she finds that powerful source of strength again, confronting her biggest, most ingrained fear, the aquaphobia. She goes back to the university pool, swims alone for more than an hour without a panic attack.
She does it again, after everything.
She does. It isn't just a physical act, it's another monumental breakthrough. A profound act of self-reclamation where she actively reclaims control over her mind and body, proving her resilience to herself. It leads her back to that realization. She might not feel strong enough for anything else, but she has survived not one, not two, but 3 near-death experiences. This personal triumph culminates in her embracing that belief. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's her solidifying that first true step towards healing and independence.
Incredible. This newfound strength and determination then propels her to London for her World Youth Photography, WYP Fellowship.
Right.
What does this significant move symbolize for Ava, beyond just a change of scenery? Is it an escape, Or is it something more profound?
Moving to London is both. It's a physical and emotional act of self-discovery and distance from her trauma. I'd say it's less of an escape and more of a strategic retreat, a chance for a genuinely fresh start. Interestingly, she initially switches from the New York cohort to London, specifically to avoid flying over an ocean because of her residual aquaphobia.
Ah, okay, so the fear still lingers a bit.
It does, initially, subtly. But the narrative later confirms she conquers this fear too, even taking short flights to neighboring countries without panicking. London represents new beginnings. It's a space where she can fully focus on her passion for photography, establish new friendships, prove to herself she can thrive independently. Away from the shadows of her past and the complicated figures who dominated her life, her specialized work in travel portraits further underscores her personal vision and growth, symbolizing her journey to new horizons, quite literally.
Okay, now back to Alex. After his brutal confession and the ultimate act of vengeance, he's left heartbroken. He states, "I never felt so acutely, so much."
Mm.
How does he begin to seek redemption, and what profound sacrifices does he make to achieve it? I mean, this isn't just changing jobs. This feels like sacrificing his life's singular purpose. What does that act signify about his transformation? What do you imagine the emotional and practical cost of such a decision would be for someone like him?
The pain of letting Ava go is described in almost physical terms for Alex, like ripping out pieces of my heart and soul. For a man who has meticulously controlled every aspect of his life and emotions for 16 years, this raw agony is completely unprecedented. His immediate act after the confrontation. He burns down Ivan's mansion, a hugely symbolic act, severing ties with his traumatic past and its consuming purpose. He's literally burning down the foundation of his revenge.
Wow.
Crucially, and perhaps most shockingly, he resigns as CEO of Archer Group, the company he built from nothing through 16 years of ruthless ambition. This company wasn't just a business, it was the instrument of his vengeance, the tangible manifestation of his relentless drive. And he explicitly states his reason for this immense sacrifice. "I couldn't stay on as CEO while spending all my time in London with you."
He says that, so it's explicitly for her.
Explicitly for her. This demonstrates a profound, unprecedented shift in his priorities. He definitively places Ava and the possibility of a future with her above his lifelong ambition for wealth and power. For Alex, a man who defined himself by control and achievement, letting go of Archer Group is akin to shedding his very identity. He's choosing vulnerability and love over the power and purpose that had consumed him for nearly 2 decades. The emotional and practical cost would be immeasurable, a complete dismantling of his carefully constructed world. It's huge.
It really is. So Alex's pursuit of Ava in London is relentless, unwavering. He employs both subtle gestures and grand displays to try and win her back. What are some examples of his persistence, and how does Ava initially react to these attempts, given the deep wounds she's still healing from?
His pursuit is methodical, almost like a new strategic operation for him, but focused on love this time. He follows her discreetly at first, ensuring her safety without her immediate knowledge, which shows his protective instincts remain, even if his methods are still a bit Alex.
Still a bit controlling, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps. He continues to send her gifts. He waits for her outside her flat every morning. He walks her home after workshops. He even becomes her de facto assistant on photo shoots and helps her assemble her dining table, just inserts himself into her life. These acts are initially met with Ava's strong resistance and depth suspicion. She's still very much healing from the betrayals of both Michael and Alex. She doesn't easily forgive, and she certainly doesn't forget the pain he inflicted with that confession.
Right.
However, the turning point comes during her exhibition. Alex makes this grand public gesture. He sings a song explicitly for her, admitting, "I'm not the best at expressing my emotions, but I said I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win you back, and I meant it." This raw public vulnerability, especially from a man so intensely guarded, begins to finally chip away at her defenses. It confirms her sixth sense that his feelings for her were, in fact, real despite his earlier brutal lies. It feels like the moment the ice truly begins to melt for her. The unfolding future. Love, family, and forgiveness.
Ava struggles, understandably, to fully forgive Alex after the depth of his deception. Yet she admits that, "In my heart of hearts, I believed him when he said our relationship and his feelings were real." What does that tell us about the fundamental nature of their bond? Even after such profound betrayal, how can trust possibly be rebuilt after such a deep wound?
That admission, I think, highlights this deep, intuitive connection between them that somehow transcends his deceptive actions. Despite the calculated, cruel lies he told her, Ava's sixth sense tells her his feelings were genuine all along. She sees his true nature as this multi-layered heart, a heart of gold encased in a heart of ice. She recognizes his immense capacity for love despite his inherent darkness and ruthless tendencies. It's like she recognizes the why behind his actions, however painful they were.
Seeing the man behind the monster he pretended to be.
Exactly. And her powerful declaration later, "I love you, Alex Volkov, every part of you, even the parts I want to slap," seals it. It shows her acceptance is complete. She's embracing both his light and his darkness. Rebuilding trust isn't about forgetting, obviously. It's about consistent action and profound vulnerability on Alex's part, and Ava's willingness to see beyond the initial pain to the truth of his motives and his love for her. Their interactions subsequently become this playful blend of his lingering possessiveness and her newfound sass, a dynamic she learns to wield to keep him in line, demonstrating her own power and comfort in the relationship now.
That's great. And the epilogue, it paints this picture of their life together, showcasing a domesticity and comfort that was once unimaginable for someone like Alex. What are some of the specific moments that illustrate their growing ease and commitment in this new phase, showing the profound transformation they've both undergone?
Oh, the epilogue is filled with these small, intimate details that signify huge growth. We see Ava kicking Alex's ass in Krav Maga, which is a powerful testament to her continued growth and strength in a skill he taught her. She's turning a tool of defense into this shared, almost playful activity.
Full circle.
Right. They share domestic scenes, like Alex doing dishes, which is just a truly surprising sight for the once aloof billionaire solely focused on revenge and power. They run a cabin in Vermont for Thanksgiving, which he secretly enjoys despite his protests about a little porcelain puppy she bought. It shows his quiet enjoyment of normalcy and domestic bliss.
Oh, the puppy.
Exactly. Ava's affectionate teasing, calling him the king of overthinking, demonstrates their intimate understanding and shared humor. That level of comfort only comes from deep connection. Her moving into his Logan Circle penthouse signifies their ultimate commitment. And Alex's improved work-life balance, he'd apparently much rather be eating her out on our bed than eating takeout at my desk.
Okay. Very frank.
Very frank, and a humorous but clear indication of his shifted priorities and his newfound happiness. He's found something better than work.
Clearly. Now, Josh remains this significant unresolved figure, though. Despite the reconciliation between Ava and Alex, Josh is described as stubborn as a bull and still furious with Alex, whom he once called his best friend. How important is this lingering conflict for the narrative? What's the hope for their relationship? Does it lend a touch of realism to the story, perhaps?
Josh's lingering anger, threatening Alex, "If I ever see you near me or Ava again, I will kill you," reflects the profound pain of Alex's betrayal. Especially since he viewed Alex as a brother, a bond built on years of trust. This highlights the realistic, lasting consequences of Alex's actions. It adds this layer of depth to the recovery process. It shows that not all wounds heal quickly or easily, even for the people you love most.
Yeah, it grounds the happy ending a bit.
Exactly. It injects that dose of realism, acknowledging that some betrayals require a much longer healing period. And some bonds, once shattered, may never be fully restored to their original state. The narrative doesn't offer an immediate fix, just suggests that time and waiting are the only paths to reconciliation. It leaves this poignant note of unresolved tension.
And Bridget, Ava's friend, the regal princess, she also plays a pivotal role, particularly in London, in pushing Alex toward Ava. What does her confrontation with Alex reveal? And how does it serve as a crucial catalyst for his actions?
Bridget, despite her own initial justifiable disdain for Alex after what he did, proves her loyalty to Ava is paramount. She reveals to Alex that he's been having Ava followed, an act she discovers through Rhys Larson, her own ex-Navy SEAL bodyguard who served with Alex's hired man.
Ah, the bodyguard connection.
Right. This revelation of Alex's continued, albeit well-intentioned control, highlights his struggle to change his inherent nature, even when he tried to do good. Bridget confronts Alex directly, cutting right to the core of Ava's suffering. And Ava, who doesn't trust or believe in love. Well, that's not really Ava, is it?
Ooh, powerful question.
It really is. This pointed question pushes Alex to realize the true depth of Ava's suffering and his direct responsibility for it. It's this realization, coupled with Bridget's revelation that Ava is literally moving to London in an hour to escape him, that ultimately drives Alex to make that monumental decision. To abandon his empire and pursue Ava, knowing that he's the only one who can truly help her heal from the wounds he inflicted. It's a powerful moment where someone else's perspective forces Alex to finally prioritize emotional healing, hers, and maybe his own, over his own rigid plans and control. And of course, we also get a hint of Bridget's own unfolding story here. She was kidnapped alongside Ava, and her new bodyguard, Rhys, proves himself capable and dedicated, hinting at their future connection in the next book.
Right, setting up the next installment.
Exactly. So yeah, we've journeyed through Twisted Love, a story that really delves into the profound impact of childhood trauma, the extreme lengths one will go for vengeance, and the surprising ways love can bloom in the most unexpected and fraught circumstances. We've seen Ava transform from this fragile spirit haunted by nightmares into a resilient woman who literally swims alone in her fears. It's a testament to her profound inner strength. And Alex, the man of ice and ambition, finds his entire core purpose redefined by an emotional depth he never thought possible, learning to prioritize love over a lifetime of calculated revenge.
It's definitely a narrative that forces us, and you, the listener, to question what it truly means to be a hero or a villain, and how the masks we wear and the lies we tell can sometimes serve a purpose, however twisted. The complexities of family, trust, self-preservation, they're all laid bare. It reminds us that even in the darkest corners of human experience there can be glimmers of light, and that finding oneself often means confronting the most uncomfortable truths. It explores the idea that sometimes the greatest acts of love can look like betrayal, and that healing isn't always, linear, it's messy.
Very messy. And that leaves us with a provocative thought, perhaps, for you, our listener. In a world where the lines between protector and manipulator can blur so easily, and where love can be born from betrayal, what does it truly take to build trust back? And can a heart, once shattered and rebuilt, ever truly shed its layers of ice? Or does it simply learn to melt, maybe, just for the right fire?
Great questions to ponder. Keep those questions in mind as you continue your own deep dives into the world around you. We'll be back next time with another fascinating topic to unpack.